Hey YouTube, this is a video response to expatkerri. She made an awesome video response. I really loved it because actually you're the second American people who made a video response, because a lot of people watch my videos in the United States, and it's very cool to receive a video response because this is the first time another person than Moses and an Italian friend and a Brazilian friend made a video response. So thank you so much. I love to watch video responses. Thank you so much, expatkerri. I don't know what your name is. Okay, I wanted to make this video response to reply to your question. Krashen's system, how is it? So I don't agree with Krashen system. I mean, it's good, but not. You have to adapt it to your situation. So I cannot just have input during 1 year and don't practice and use the language actually, because it's not funny enough to do it. It's not motivating to do it. So for example, when I was learning Japanese, maybe let's say I was learning, I had learned 3 months of Japanese, and we went to a Japanese restaurant, and then they began to talk to me in Japanese, the waitress, because they thought I was Japanese. So I replied in Japanese, and I began to speak in Japanese, and it was very cool. Although my vocabulary was very limited, I just practiced what I knew. And what is strange is that maybe after 3 months, I knew more than people who studied 1 year, had classes, attended to classes 1 year, because my system and their system is very different. So basically, what I did when I learned Japanese is Asimil books. So Asimil, oh, I don't have my Asimil book here, but yeah, I have it. This is the first Asimil book, my first Japanese book ever. I had another Japanese book, but in Romaji, so all written in transcription. I didn't like it, so I used this book. This book is great, but it only teach you the polite Japanese, and between friends you never use the polite Japanese. You use the informal Japanese. So basically what I did is I listened a lot. Yeah, listening is very important, because when you first start to learn a language, you have to get the sound right, and try to mimic the accent of the native speaker. So some languages you have to choose, like Spanish, you have to choose which Spanish: Cuban Spanish, Dominican Spanish, or Mexican Spanish, or Spanish from Spain. You have to choose your accent. But Japanese, it's just standard Japanese. Korean also, for in your case, so you will choose Korean from Seoul. But maybe if you go to Busan, um, they have another accent, but this is not the point. Communication is important. Accent is not so important. I like to have a good accent in each of my language. Although my Taiwanese accent is my accent in Taiwanese is awful. But yeah, okay. I never really practice it every day, so this is the problem. Okay, back to the point. Krashen, I don't do the same. I use some parts of Krashen, like I'm listening to when I start to learn a language, I listen to Pimsleur. Pimsleur is a very good program for Japanese. I listen 45 hours of Japanese, and then I use this book 3 months, and then I could not speak. Actually, I could not have a conversation, so I stopped to learn Japanese, and I learned Italian in 4 months. Then I went back to Japanese, and I used Pimsleur, and then I used some other books, so I got a lot of input. But whenever I have an opportunity to practice, I will use it. No matter how much I know, no matter how my vocabulary is. Even if I know hello, how are you? My name is this is my I'm 19 years old, and all those stuff. I will use it. I will use it because if you don't use, you don't memorize what you learned. So you have to use. And Krashen forgets something, to have fun. When you learn a language, it's not like just learn in books. You have also to, how could I say it, well, meet people, native speakers, and discover their culture, and always be curious. So you are curious to know about Korean language community, Korean society, culture. So this is great because you chose a non-European language, and that's great. I'll yeah, maybe you cannot use those books, but I found great books to learn Korean, like maybe 3,000 pages to learn Korean, but everything is explained in Chinese. So I don't know if you know Chinese. I will send you the link to download those books and audio files. If you know Chinese, you can use those books. And yeah, back so Krashen forgot about having fun. Having fun means to meet a lot of people and talk with them in their native language, and they will be surprised. For example, when I will tell you each of my language I learned by myself. So Spanish, I used the French version of Teacher Self, and then I went to speak with. After 3 months, I went to speak with my Dominican friends, and then I always spoke a lot. Never studied grammar. I know I make some mistakes when I speak Spanish, but it's okay. Conversation, no problem. I spoke about everything: religion, politics, economy, culture, music, a lot of things. I spoke with them, so it's not a problem. So German, I learned it just because I was curious. I couldn't read German when I went to Germany, so I wanted to learn, and it was quite easy because it's similar to Dutch. So my German level is very poor. I didn't focus on German. I just wanted to know some basic things, and yeah, Japanese now. Japanese is a tough language, but I wanted to challenge a non-European language, so I chose Japanese. The writing is challenging. Um, the people have another mentality, and I really like it. So the way I learn languages is a natural way. No grammar, no rules. Just I understand. I didn't know the Japanese grammar because Japanese grammar and Chinese grammar are very different. Chinese is much easier, but tones are very difficult in Chinese. So the grammar, how I learned the grammar, the Japanese grammar, by reading a lot. And when you bump into those endings, words endings in different contexts, you will understand it. So I always so 勉強したらこれをしたら and I'll always したら and then I realized it was conditional, like if I would have something. This is conditional form in Japanese, and I discovered it just by reading a lot of things, について or とか, what it means, all those little things, particles like ga, wa, and all those things. I discovered it by reading, just reading. I never focused on grammar, never. So I don't wish you guys to focus on grammar because we are not ready to learn grammar until we can speak fluently with some mistakes. So learn grammar when you are able to speak fluently and you are confident to speak. And don't learn grammar before, because you will be discouraged and you will not continue the language because you cannot produce some output. So I studied maybe 300 hours of Japanese before I can get very good output about common subjects. So yeah, let's learn and see you.